We begin this morning on First News newspapers. We, of course, every morning take you across the continent and share with you what the biggest stories are making headlines in every region of the continent. We're starting here in Nigeria. It says here, security agencies arrest 5 ISWAP commanders and 30 fighters in Abuja. It says DSS, NIA, police and other security operatives dismantle terror cell in joint operation, raid suspects hideout in Abuja, Maraba, other FCT satellite towns. IGP releases emergency numbers nationwide. It also says here, popular Abuja supermarket, Jabi Lake Mall, shuts down over security threat. And of course, the UK issues a fresh terror alert. 2023, Atiku travels to US to canvass support for Nigerians in Diaspora. And also Naira redesign, EFCC set to go after currency hoarders. You can also find here, man carrying 101 PVCs arrested by police in Sokoto. NDLEA freezes 20 billion naira in 103 bank accounts owed by billionaire drug baron. And Zamfara bandits seize police officers' phones. Okay. We can also find here 2023, Tinubu only concerned about personal interests, says Akintoye. That's a funny story. It says Zamfara bandits seize police officers' phones.
It took like 5 seconds for that to sink in. It just felt like the song by Sowetan of blessed memory, who said one day Bushmeat will catch the hunter.
All right, we can also find Lagos PDP gubernatorial candidate Jandor suffers setback as 5,000 supporters defect to the APC. I'm going to stop here on the First News this morning.
All right, let's head over, still here in Nigeria, but let's head over to this Nigerian newspaper. Now, the front page of this Nigerian newspaper, still talking about the terror scare. UK further warns nationals to avoid Abuja, ask them to travel to Nigeria capital only if necessary. Ask them to travel to Nigeria's capital only if necessary as non-essential staff of US embassy leave for home. Federal government insists no cause for alarm. Interesting. How Chidima allegedly transferred 5 million naira from slain Super TV boss Ataga's account by witness. The details of that's on page 14. Restructuring will be your greatest legacy, Okotie tells Buhari. And we also have at the bottom of the paper, tampering with 2023 poll results will spark revolution, says Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. The details of that's on page 6. And non-Niger Deltans pay 1 million naira bribe to benefit from amnesty program, says Ndiomu. I wonder how that works. At the top of the paper, we have police nab man with 101 PVCs in Sokoto, INEC to probe case. And the final story this morning on the front page of this Nigeria, we can see a photograph of the former president of Nigeria, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and he's in the flood with the people, and it says, Jonathan in the flood of sympathy with Bayelsa people. We can see him there with the monarch of Otoke town, Paul Ngoye, and others inspecting the state of flood in Otoke, Ogbia, local government area of Bayelsa state yesterday. Let's head away from Nigeria.
All right, let's go to South Africa this morning and see what is on the Sowetan. It says here, air of uncertainty over Santin terror alert, and the show goes on. Santin CBD stays open for business amid heightened security ahead of weekend. The United States has warned it could see a terrorist attack in Africa's richest square mile. Also, event organizers insist they won't cancel activities despite warning. That's on page 4. Still trying to be sure exactly what the US is seeing or what the information that they have from the UK to the US, about major cities in Africa. And of course, we reported on the First News this morning that some arrests were made of ISWAP fighters in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, here in Nigeria. It says it was in collaboration with the DSS and NIA and a couple of other security agencies. All right, still on the Sowetan, the case against Coco and Co. It says here, former ESCOM acting chief executive Marcella Coco, his wife Musima, stepdaughter Kokeso, Choma, and 5 others appearing at the Middleburg Magistrates Court in Mpumalanga on charges of corruption. That's on page 6.
Yeah, and we're talking about that much later this morning on the show as well.
These are the stories that we can quickly throw in.
But
on the Sowetan.
I think it's quite scary to see that, whilst you were taking the front page of Sowetan, you did mention the potential terror threats. And we've been seeing that. Yeah, you said Santon CBD stays open for business amid heightened security ahead of weekend. The U.S. has warned could see a terrorist attack in Africa's richest square mile. Rita, what are your thoughts on this? We're seeing possibilities or warnings of the U.S. Embassy about potential attacks. First, it was in Nigeria. Now we're hearing as well in South Africa. The UK has also sent a message to its citizens in Nigeria telling them to be on guard. But the federal government has said that there is no cause for alarm.
Well, for countries, for the UK, for the US, every country is always looking out for their own citizens, definitely. It's always there. And I don't know why the terror attacks are going on. I mean, we're here in Nigeria, and I know that, yes, security has been on high alert, but it's not so alarming as they would call it. In South Africa, we also have, I think all over the world, we also have security threats. In the United States, I mean, look at the gun incidences we've had in the United States. You understand? So I know that, yes, countries will always have to look out for themselves, but it's not as alarming as they're making it look like. I mean, earlier on in the UAE, we saw visa ban for about 20 African countries. So yes, they're looking out for themselves, but it's not as alarming as they're calling it, because we also have crimes and all the situations going on around the world.
Well, it's interesting to see it from that perspective, but one would say that they haven't given a lot of these threats in recent times, and all of a sudden it's just like the messages are coming back to back almost at the same time. We're not going to act like lots of people aren't concerned, but we do hope that, just like the federal government in Nigeria has said, that this would be nothing to worry about. We still have another paper to look through. Rita, I'm sure you have that.
Definitely, and we're going all the way to Kenya. Also earlier on you talked about Nigeria, and then one of the PDP presidential aspirants talking about going to diaspora and looking for votes. I was wondering, does Nigeria have diaspora voting? But anyway, let's go over to Daily Nation. And we have there from Kenya, and he says, no room for failure. President warns ministers. Now, why Ruto read the Riot Act? This is coming all the way from Kenya. We have a new president, William Ruto, in Kenya, and he has read the Riot Act. And he says, President tells early morning Kenya Quasi parliamentary group meeting that previous holders of powerful positions in parliament and the cabinet abused them for selfish gains, warns that he will not tolerate indiscipline. This is William Ruto talking to the parliamentarians, saying that he would not tolerate indiscipline in his parliament. And that's quite a good one coming from William Ruto. He's coming on all tough, but we see how that goes. I mean, 100 days will soon clock for William Ruto in his administration. We also have fresh from State House, the president's new leaders in parliament. Yes, William Ruto is finally sworn in his cabinet. And now at a Kenya Quasi parliamentary group meeting in State House yesterday morning, Ruto oversaw the nomination of new leaders in crucial House teams, but warned that he will not allow them to misuse their positions for personal gain. So this is William Ruto kicking against intolerance, kicking against corruption, personal gain. And he also talked a lot about helping the people of Kenya move away from poverty and also uplift the economic situation in Kenya. We'll see how that pans out. Now, another one goes on the front page of Daily Nation. It says, what's wrong with CBC? Submit your views here. Now, this CBC is supposed to be a competency-based curriculum, and it sets nationwide collection of submissions from the public next week. Now, William Ruto, upon his administration, talked about reforming the education system in Kenya, and this is one of them. This is competency-based curriculum. Now, he's telling people that they should send your views if they actually like this curriculum or if they do not like it. Now, of course, William Ruto is having lots of things to do in Kenya at the beginning of his administration. And, looking at the whole election and all that, you would say that William Ruto is kind of starting to a good start. And we do hope that he not only starts well, but also finishes his tenure well, Olive.
Absolutely. We do hope that he finishes his tenure well. He has inherited an economy that has struggled, and there are lots of expectations. But like we say, it's not a miracle. It will take time. It will take some strategic efforts. And we do hope that he finishes well. Thank you so much, Rita, for joining us. It's quite exciting to have you join us for newspaper reviews. And we hope we'll see more of this happen.
Definitely. Thank you. Or probably, hopefully later on. Thank you so
All right,
much.
then.